Good evening. I'm Gina Roberts, Voter Education Director for the Citizens Clean Elections Commission. As the state's only nonpartisan voter education agency, Clean Elections is proud to sponsor these debates. Our mission is to ensure that you have the opportunity to hear directly from the candidates, ask questions about the issues that impact your life, and head to the polls with confidence. To make sure your voice is heard, please keep these upcoming deadlines in mind. June 22nd is the voter registration deadline, June 24th, early voting begins, and July 21st is primary election day. A quick reminder, all registered voters, including independents, are eligible to vote in the upcoming primary election. If you're watching this debate live, we want to hear from you. You can submit a question for the candidates at any time using one of the following methods. You can email debates@kc-a.com. You can text 480-769-9511 or phone 480-937-1253. Thank you for joining us and for staying engaged in our democracy. For more resources to help you prepare for the upcoming July 21st primary election, please visit our website at azcleanelections.gov. Enjoy the debate.
Good evening, and welcome to the Arizona Clean Elections debate for Legislative District 24, the Democratic primary. I'm Nicole Ludden. I'm a reporter with the Arizona Agenda, and I'll be your moderator. Tonight, you're going to hear from two candidates running in the Democratic primary for the State House of Representatives and Legislative District 24, which is a Democratic stronghold that covers parts of central and west central Phoenix, Glendale, and Maryvale. Voters in LD24 will elect one state senator and two state representatives, and tonight's candidates are competing on the same ballot to make it through to the primary. This is an important race because incumbent Rep. Anna Abeitia is leaving the House, meaning the district will get at least one new representative next year. Two of the Democratic House candidates in this district, Lydia Hernandez and Rosa Cantu, declined to participate in this debate. Here's how tonight's debate will go. Each candidate will start with a 90-second opening statement, then we'll spend a few minutes getting to know who these candidates are as people. We'll dig into the core issues facing this district, then ask each candidate to explain how they would have voted on a bill from this session. Time permitting, we'll do a rapid fire round and we'll finish with 90-second closing statements. Okay, let's get started. Candidates, thank you for being here. We'll start with 90-second opening statements. Lisbeth, you're up first whenever you're ready.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole, for allowing me to be here. My name is Lisbeth Ares Curenaga, and I am running to represent LD24, Maryvale, and South Glendale. I am a proud immigrant. I am a mother. I'm a veteran's wife, and I am a mental health therapist. I came to this country when I was 15, and I had my daughter at a very young age. And like many families in my community, I have worked very hard to raise my family. I work as a dishwasher. I work as a server. I clean homes. I did everything that I had to do to succeed. And today I am running because our district deserves a leader who understands what our working families are going through and leaders who can fight for real solutions. I am the reflection of Maryvale and South Glendale. I was able to put myself through school. I gave my daughter the opportunities that I never had. I had to find resources to make that possible. And I want to bring those resources and solutions to the families in Maryvale and Glendale. Every day while I'm at the doors talking to voters, I hear the reality. The same issues, inflations, healthcare, and our schools closing. And I am running to make sure that our children don't have to choose between success and survival. That our families in Maryvale can afford to stay here in our districts and buy their homes. I want our schools to be strong, and I want to improve our healthcare that is so broken. Maryvale and Glendale deserve a representative who have lived their stories, and me and Alberto, we are those people. And I'm asking you to vote for me, for Alberto Flores and Senator Annalise Ortiz on or before July 21st.
Thank you so much. Alberto, you're up next.
Thank you, Clean Elections, for this opportunity. I'm Alberto Flores. I'm asking you to vote for me for the Arizona House in Maryvale and Glendale. Working families in this district deserve a representative who actually fights for them. I grew up here. My family came from Sonora, and we were mixed status through most of my childhood. My dad worked machine shops. My mom worked houses. By 16, I was running our family's machine shop alongside my brothers. We lived in the back room. We took bucket showers for years. When the shop went under during my mission, it was not because we didn't work hard enough. It was because working families like ours never had a fair shot. That is the fight that I'm running to take to the Capitol. Lydia Hernandez voted to protect masked ICE agents tearing our families apart. She voted 3 times to let Donald Trump's allies rewrite the U.S. Constitution. She votes for the people who pay her, not for the people who elected her. And Rosa Cantu is running as her recruitment and signed the same pledge to rewrite the U.S. Constitution. That's 2 votes instead of 1. Maryvale and Glendale deserve a representative who has lived your story. I have. I'm asking you to vote for me, Alberto Flores, and Lisbeth Ares Corenaga on or before July 21st.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to move on to our first round of questions, but first, a quick reminder for our viewers. You can submit a question for the candidates at any time by emailing debates@kc-a.com, texting 480-769-9511, or calling 480-937-1253. Alrighty, this first segment is about who you are, not your policy positions, but what shaped you, how you think, and who you'd be if elected to office. Try to take about 90 seconds to answer here. First up, tell us about the hardest period in your life. How did you get through it, and what did it teach you about yourself? Alberto, you're up first for this one.
So when I was 15, my younger brother was 14. We made a very difficult decision of transitioning from traditional high school to online high school. And the reason we did that was to help my dad with our family machine shop. We used to rebuild engines, and we were really good at it. And we all had different positions eventually. So my dad was the best at the actual machining. My brother was learning all of that alongside him, and I was best at running it. And it was the hardest decision because we worked 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week as kids. And we would do our school online at night. And we did that rinse and repeat for a few years. And we would live in the back office suites of these businesses, and we would take bucket showers, and we would live in these cramped little office spaces. On the surface, it was really hard, physically, financially. I mean, we didn't have typical teenage childhoods as a result, my brother and I. You know, we worked. We had to grow up really quickly. And what got us through it, though, is I was able to spend so much time with my family. It was some of the best years of my life because I got to work alongside of them every single day. And no matter what struggles we had, we were together. And that shaped me. And that shaped me for why I'm running, because this is in response to that child who didn't have the opportunity to pursue whatever he wanted to as a kid. This is to provide opportunities for children and families in Maryvale who I know share my similar story. Thank you.
Thank you. Elizabeth, what about you?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, tell us about one of the hardest periods of your life, how you went through it, and what it taught you about yourself.
That was when I was 19 and I found out that I was pregnant. So I came to this country alone. I didn't have a family, and I was in a very abusive relationship when I found out that I was pregnant. So I remember at that moment, I sat back and I said, okay, this is when I change my life. What is it that I'm going to be able to do for myself and for my daughter? And I do know that no matter what, one thing that no one can take away from me, it's education. It's my knowledge. So in that moment, I said, okay, I know it's going to be tough, but I am going to make it happen. So I chose to have my daughter. I put myself through school. It took me many years to get my bachelor's because I was undocumented, but I did it. I completed it. And while my daughter was graduating from kindergarten, I was graduating with my bachelor's. And I was able to fix my legal status. And that's when I went back, I got my master's, because I knew that I had to set that example for my kid. And one thing about me is I cannot tell others do it when I didn't go through it. So that was one of the hardest decisions that I made of my life. And my daughter, it's the living proof that it's possible. Like, she got a full ride scholarship for playing flag football in Texas. And I want that not only for her, I want that for the people in Glendale and Maryvale, because it is possible and we could make it happen if we elect the right people.
Okay, thank you to both of you for sharing. Next question is, what's something you've built, started, or led that you're proud of, and what did it teach you? Elizabeth, you're up first for this one.
There's many things that I did, but one of the things that I am very proud of is I started an advisory committee for New Pathways for Youth. And it was mainly Latino, it was to recruit more Latino mentors. I started it from the scratch. I recruited Latinos, professional Latinos who could provide the right support for these youth. I started that 3 years ago. I create all the strategic plan in the back. I taught them how to represent the organization. I taught them how to fundraise. And I also taught them how to recruit more other mentors. And that's something that I started it and I am very proud of. And I step away because they are strong enough to do it on their own. And then that is just one example of the things that I have been able to accomplish in my careers.
Okay, thank you. Alberto, what about you?
I think something that I am most proud of building is my ability to build efficient automated systems in whatever I do. So by trade, I am a technologist, which means that I just like to make things more efficient and easier. And no matter what occupation I've been in, I've always seemed to build something that makes my life easier so that I can focus on the things that matter. For example, when I was a legislative intern at the Department of Child Safety, I built our own internal bill tracker. And I was able to leverage a bunch of public data and whatever was available because I wanted to make sure that we were able to provide the best attention and the best knowledge available, especially during a legislative session where everything is so quick moving and updates happen within a moment's notice. And so I'm very proud of that because that has led to other automations and other systems that I've been able to create, not only in my occupations, but also in my life, generally speaking. I mean, now I work as a process engineer, automating systems for a company. And that, again, I feel proud because whatever this has been, my process has been the same. It's understanding and it's learning and asking questions and empathizing with those that these systems impact. And then from there, I'm able to create solutions that I know benefits everybody involved. And so I've been very proud of that because that is something that I've seen throughout my life and hope to continue doing that.
Okay, thank you. And our last get to know you question here. I know we're in the middle of campaign season, but what did becoming a candidate teach you about politics that you didn't understand before? A new revelation for you. Alberto, you're first.
Ooh. I would say that while there are a lot of community members and organizations and even elected officials who all want the same purpose, the way in that which is done can often be a point of confliction. And so I've learned how important it is more now than ever to be a bridge builder and to be somebody who can coalesce and build these relationships because too often I've noticed in the last 6 months that I've been on this campaign is that often, is a result where we have groups who share the same values, don't often see eye to eye. And what that's taught me is we can either, wallow in that and revel in that and not get anything done, or we can be that difference and we could, be the bigger person to initiate that reconstruction so that we can focus on the people that we want to impact, the people in our community. I think at the end of the day, what I've learned is when we always keep in center the people that we serve and we hope to serve, that's the motivation that you need to continue to bridge building, to continue to talk to people, even though you hear rejection after rejection. It's for the care that you have for this community. And so that I think that's what I've learned as well. There are many, like a family, many arguments within loved ones. At the end of the day, we all share that purpose of wanting to serve. And so that's what I've learned.
Okay, thank you. Elizabeth, what about you?
I have learned so many things, but I think the most important one, and maybe I was too naive when I started doing this work, it was that not everybody's doing this for the right reasons, right? And a great example, it's our opponent, Lydia Hernandez and Rosa Cantu, right? The fact that they're not here showing up and talking to our communities, that makes me very upset. right? One promise that I have made for myself is that if I don't do the right job, if I get elected and I am not making the right decisions for my community, I am going to I'm going to step to the side because I am not the best. I won't be the best solution for them. And some people are so in love with power that they keep on doing this no matter what, and nobody how much you're hurting the community that you wanted to serve. So, like, let's go back to and think about why we're doing these. What is the reason why you are running, right? So I think that's one of the things that I have learned a lot, because I was at the beginning when I started these, I was thinking, yeah, we can all work together, but not all of us have the same goals. And even though I would love to be able to work with everybody, I know that at some point I am gonna be pushing back, and a lot.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving us that chance to get to know you. We're going to turn to the issues voters care about most now. This is the core of tonight's debate. I'll ask a question, and each of you will get 90 seconds to respond. First up, Arizona's flat 2.5% income tax has starved state services. Would you vote to raise state income taxes on households making over $250,000 to fund things like schools and healthcare? Elizabeth, you're up first for this one.
Yes, I would. I would vote yes on it, because I do believe that one of the biggest issues right now, it's funding our schools. So that will be one of the solutions that we can come up with. So I don't think it's fair for somebody who's making $35,000 a year to pay the same taxes of someone who's making $250 a year.
Okay, thank you. Alberto?
Yes, same as well. I would vote to increase the state income tax for those making over $250,000 annually. And I just want to highlight that in Arizona, we have plenty of ultra wealthy individuals and ultra wealthy families here who are, like Lisbeth mentioned, should be able to pay their fair share. And right now it is disproportionate for the working families in my district to have to pay that, where we have schools that the buildings are in decay, where we have up to 40 students per teacher. We can't afford to give away those tax money when our families in my district desperately need it.
Okay, thank you. And both of your answers might feed into this question. Funding a real teacher raise means finding hundreds of millions of dollars. Where would you find the money? And please name actual line items you'd cut or taxes you'd increase to pay for it. Alberto.
And we have 90 seconds, yes?
Yes.
So the first thing I would do is rein in the ESA voucher program, first and foremost. We've seen that over the years that this has ballooned, and it is now the biggest expense in our general fund, education, and that is because of the ESA voucher program. I would want to make sure that we can completely reform so that those families who are more than willing to pay for their own private school or for their children's charter school programs can do so out of their own pocket and not out of the pockets of, again, the working families in my district. In LD24, Maryvale and Glendale, we are one of the lowest participating districts in the ESA voucher program, and we also have plenty of public schools closing across both cities. This is a crisis that I know we would be able to recuperate funds if we are to rein in this program. And the other thing I would like to address is Proposition 123. This is something that the legislature has kicked the can down over the last few legislative sessions, and we are going to have to face that very soon. And so I want to make sure that we can address that, and so that our public schools have access to the state land trust fund so that they can continue to improve the dire circumstances that many of our schools are in. I want to make sure that we also fund mental health support programs and school counselors, and not programs that are going to further criminalize our children and our little ones.
Okay, thank you. And Lisbeth.
Yeah, the same. I think that ESA vouchers, it is a big deal. My daughter went to a public school, and the fact that she had to share uniforms with her other classmates, I don't think that should be a reality of our public schools, especially if these vouchers are being funded with their tax money, right? So I agree with everything that Alberto said, and as well, I think we should start taxing data centers. they're here in our communities currently. How come we're not using that money to put that in our schools? I think we should definitely keep on focusing on prevention and fighting the root of the cause, right? When the budget comes every year, why do we keep on putting money into things that are reactive for our communities? Right? Why aren't we focusing on, okay, let's keep our children busy? We are talking about safety, but yet we are not investing in the real problem. So I think those will be two of that's how I will be able to fund more money, to bring more money to our schools.
Okay, we're gonna move on to housing. Arizona has the housing crisis, and Democrats don't all agree on what's driving it. What's your diagnosis for who or what is primarily to blame, and what's the first bill policy push to address it? Elizabeth, you're up first.
I'm going to blame both. Inflation is a big deal right now. The prices keep on increasing, but yet our wages are the same. So how are we able to afford to buy a new home when our salaries don't increase, right? And the house prices keep on increasing. Corporations, like when I'm canvassing, when I'm at the doors, I see from out of 10 homes, at least 3 or 4 are empty. So a lot of these big corporations keep on buying our entire neighborhoods in our district, and nobody's using them. And then we're complaining about seeing people on the streets, living on the streets, and also working with developers that let's build more homes that our communities could actually afford. Like, don't bring a $500,000 home into Maribel or South Glendale. Like, let's bring a home that's like that all of us can afford. I'm very concerned about this because I have an 18-year-old daughter and she's gonna go to college, she's gonna come back, and she's not gonna be able to afford her own place.
Okay, thank you. Alberto?
I want to echo a lot of what Lisbeth said. One of the root causes here in the state is corporate housing. We have corporations coming in, buying up large swaths of the supply that we have in the state, and it's pricing out people like myself, people who did everything right, who went to college, has a job, and still that is not enough in this day and age. And along with what Lisbeth said, that we have developers who we know have been holding on to these permits and to these swaths of land, again, waiting to capitalize on the backs of working families in Maryvale and Glendale. It's a shame that many in our own district cannot afford to live here. While I'm out canvassing, you often meet, 3 generations in a home. You often meet multiple families in these homes. And we have to expand zoning so that we can make that a reality to address that issue. Let's increase the possibilities for more middle housing. And let's also work with organizations who are already involved in this. Let's implement more social housing programs in which the state isn't actively paying, but we are recuperating the funds that we invest. And that way we are able to help those in the community. We also need to implement rent caps. We need to improve our tenants' rights because many of us who rent houses or apartments or townhomes are often priced out through insane price increases year after year. So it would be a multitude from developers, from landlords, and making sure that working families get their fair share in their pay.
Okay, thank you. I do want to ask because I think both of you have alluded to this. This race gives Democratic voters a real choice between different kinds of Democratic candidates. Beyond any one issue, why is your approach the right fit for this district right now? And what do you think a more moderate Democrat would miss? Why is your specific approach the best? Alberto?
For any particular issue? Sorry?
Yeah, just why your specific, as opposed to I think you're mentioning current Representative Lydia Hernandez, as why you'd be the better fit.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I want to outline something that was done this past session by a Democrat. Representative Lydia Hernandez voted to protect masked ICE agents, and she's voted over 170 times with Republicans. The difference is clear here. As the son of immigrants myself and coming from a mixed status family, the approach is very clear that I would not give any power to ICE or ICE agents, especially when our district is comprised of working immigrant families. I want to represent that firsthand and strongly. And there are so many things that we can be doing at the state legislature that, frankly, my representative, Lydia Hernandez, has not considered doing. She's even voted to make it harder for us to report ICE activity in public spaces. And so, again, the last thing we want is to give ICE more free rein to terrorize our communities. I would be vociferous and ferocious in any legislation that bans, us work and enabling local police departments to work with ICE agents. I would make sure that we eliminate any sort of information or data sharing. And these are things that should have been proposed this last session. And frankly, I didn't see our current representative doing so. And again, the stakes in our district are clear because we are a high majority Hispanic district. And being Hispanic myself, I want to make sure that we have real representation and not one that sells their vote to who gives them the higher check.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Elizabeth.
Yeah, and also I think that the lack of accountability and also the lack of she is not present for our community. And today this is a perfect example of her not being able to speak with voters, right? Another thing that I want to add to what Alberto said, it's that she's been on that seat for like 4 years, and yet we don't see any real changes in our communities. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not going to come in with them, and I'm not going to come in telling voters, hey, I'm going to make a change. And in the next 2 years, we're going to be able to accomplish all of this. I know it takes a lot of work to be able to do that, but at least be present for your community. At least be accountable for the decisions that you are making today. She was banned from LD24. Like, you're not even representing the Democrats who you want to serve. You have been banned from the Phoenix School Union because you decided to bring a pocket knife into our schools. So is that real representation? I want to be accountable. If I do something wrong, I keep on telling people, if I do something wrong, please come to me and tell me what are the things that I can do to improve. This is not a one governing, I'm not going to be leading by myself. I'm going to be leading with my community. And that's why I am here today. And that's why Alberto and I decided to step up.
Okay, thank you so much. I do want to squeeze in a viewer question here. What are your priorities for the Maryvale portion of LD24? Elizabeth, you're up first for that one.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. Housing, it's a huge one. Funding our public schools, being able to bring more money to our education and our social services. We keep on hearing that, oh, Maryvale is not safe, that all of the things are happening in Maryvale, but yet we keep on defunding social services and our schools. If we keep all children busy, and I want to go back to an example of my daughter. Like when I was 19, I had no money, and I found resources to keep my daughter active. I put her in TAB, flag, everything that I could, right? And those are things that I want to bring from my district. I want to invest in our future. I want to be able to give them the tools for them to be also to succeed. And another thing that I keep on hearing at the doors, it's healthcare, and people are also very worried about water. So we do want to make that our priority. And also we don't want to bring data centers to our district, especially because Maryvale, it's 7 degrees hotter than other areas. And if we do bring data centers to our communities, we're going to make it 3 degrees hotter of what it already is.
Okay, thank you, Alberto. Any Maryvale specific priorities?
Yes, the first thing that comes to mind is what Elizabeth mentioned at the end there, and it's the environmental crisis that we have in Maryvale. To highlight from what she said, in our district in the Maryvale portion, it is 5 to 7 degrees hotter than neighboring neighborhoods and cities, and that is a result for a lack of green spaces, lack of shaded structures, and mind you, the amount of industrialization that we have next to these homes. And so, because I was born in this district and I've lived in many parts of it and many parts of the valley, I've seen the difference firsthand. I've seen how the air quality impacts children who want to play outside. As somebody who had asthma as a kid, now I understand why, and that's just because when we would go to these parks, there are no trees. There are a lack of natural vegetation that can give us that fresh air. And then that translates to so much. That translates into the mental health of our children, the mental health of all the residents. And if we want to make this city more livable, we have to make it cooler, because a lot of us in our district, and I've done this in many phases of my life, I've relied on public transportation with biking and with buses, and sitting at a bus stop in 110 plus degree weather trying to get to your job at an office. The residents in our district know firsthand the effects of this heat, and we are often blamed from being from here when it has nothing to do of our own doing. And so I want to prioritize Maryvale and developing more green spaces and more places to improve the air quality.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on. Before tonight's debate, each candidate received 3 actual bills from this legislative session. I've picked one of them to ask you about tonight. I'll read a short summary of the bill, and you'll each have 1 minute to tell the voters 2 things, how you would have voted and why. The bill is SB 1431, Housing Design Standards. It would stop cities from forcing new developments to have HOAs, gates, or shared amenities, and it would block cities from setting design rules for single-family homes. And cities could still enforce basic safety, building, and parking rules. Alberto, you'll go first. Please tell us how you'd vote and why.
I would have voted yes on SB 1431. Zoning in this country has a long history of being used to keep working families and families of color out of neighborhoods. Local design standards have been used for decades to decide who gets to live here, who gets to build wealth, and who gets to obtain home ownership, and who gets pushed to the edges, frankly. SB 1431 starts to break that pattern. Working families in Maryvale and Glendale deserve the chance to live in the housing this district needs, not the housing that exclusionary design standards allow. We are in a crisis right now, and we just don't have the luxury of deliberating design standards and things that have to do with accessory and nothing to do with the actual safety of the home, and nothing that actually addresses this crisis we're all in. I would have voted yes.
Okay, Elizabeth, what about you?
I voted yes as well, and it's because the same reasons that Alberto said. We are in a housing crisis currently. We keep on complaining about unsheltered people. We keep on complaining about us not being able to afford for their homes, and I think that aesthetics, it's not an issue. It's not a priority currently that we have. Housing, it's the real issue, and so I think this is a great bill, and I would have definitely voted yes on it.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move into a quick rapid fire round. These are yes or no or quick short response questions. You can add a short reason if you want, but try to keep it tight. Okay, first up, true or false? Katie Hobbs is too moderate. Elizabeth, you're up first for this one.
It's true. We're in election a year, so she needs to represent everyone, not just one party.
Okay, Alberto?
True. There are more values that a lot of us Arizonans share that are more progressive than we all like to think.
Okay, thank you. We're going to cool it down a bit. Name one local business in your district you'd be sad to lose. Alberto?
Ooh, Tacarón. They make the best carne asada tacos. I go there like once a week.
Next, Elizabeth?
Flavors in the Park. It is in downtown Glendale, and on Saturdays after canvassing, I go there and I talk to the servers and to the owners, and he has been amazing. And when he can, he give us conchas, coffee, to make sure that our canvassers are well taken care of.
Nice. What's one word your friends would use to describe you? Elizabeth? This is a hard one.
My friends.
Or family, anyone?
I think persistent, definitely. Like, I don't know how to take no for an answer, and I will find a way to get my yes.
Okay, Alberto?
Heart. They'll say he has a lot of heart.
Nice, that's sweet. All right, and that means we've reached closing statements. Each candidate gets 90 seconds. The order is going to be the same as your openings. So Elizabeth, whenever you're ready, if you want to go ahead and close it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep it in 90 seconds. Well, good evening and thank you everyone for being here. I am Lisbeth Ares-Corenaga and I'm asking you to vote for me for the Arizona House in Glendale and Maryville. I honestly never planned to run for office. I am here because I saw the need for better representation. And as I talked to families across Maryville and Glendale, I heard the same stories over and over again. Parents are working hard, but still having to choose between paying for their rent, for their food, and for their medications, and just fighting for their basic needs. And our communities deserve leaders who understand those real struggles, right? And are actually willing to put up the fight to bring real solutions, not just talk about it. I came to this country when I was 15. I am a mother, I am a mental health therapist, and I am a community advocate. I've been advocating my whole life, even when I didn't know that I was actually advocating. And I, like many families in my district, I was able to balance work, school, and family responsibilities, all of it by fighting for a better life, for a better future. And as a single mother, there were many times that resources were very limited, but I never stopped believing in my daughter. I invested in her dreams, and today she earned a full ride scholarship to play flag football in Texas. Her success is a proof of what can happen when families have opportunities, support, and someone who believes in them. I have lived what many politicians only talk about. I have worked with foster youth, unaccompanied minors, victims of domestic violence, cancer patients, people facing real challenges. I have spent many of my career helping people find solutions, and I will bring that to the State House. I am running because no family should have to choose between paying for the rent or putting food at their table, buying medications, or in general, just meeting their basic needs. And no parent have to wonder if they can afford to give their child the opportunity they deserve. I am resourceful, I am resilient, and I am determined because that is who our community is. And I am a reflection of many families in Maryville and South Glendale. Today, I am running because I believe that every family deserves the same opportunity that helped me and my daughter succeed. And I will be honored to earn your vote, to be your voice, and to fight for you and for your family. So I'm asking you to please vote for Lisbeth Ares-Corenaga, Alberto Flores, and Senator Annalise Ortiz on or before July 21st.
Okay, thank you. And Alberto.
I'm Alberto Flores. I'm asking you to vote for me for state representative in Maryville and Glendale. I grew up here. My family built a machine shop in West Phoenix that we lost because working families like ours never had a fair shot. I've spent the last 10 years organizing in this district and across the valley against ICE, for reproductive freedom, and for working families. I'm running because the families who raised me deserve a representative who actually fights for them. Lydia Hernandez voted to protect masked ICE agents tearing our families apart. She voted 3 times to let Donald Trump's allies rewrite the U.S. Constitution. And Rosa Cantu is her running mate and would vote the exact same way. I'm running with Senator Annalise Ortiz and Lisbeth Ares-Corenaga as a slate for Maryville and Glendale. The 3 of us are funded by working families, not by national right-wing operations writing maximum checks. We have one chance in this primary to send 3 real fighters to the Capitol. I'm asking you to vote for me, Alberto Flores, on or before July 21st.
Okay, and that concludes tonight's Democratic primary debate for the State House and Legislative District 24. Thank you so much to our candidates for being here, and to our voters, thank you for tuning in and informing yourselves ahead of the July 21st primary election. For official voter information, you can visit azcleanelections.gov.